I kind of miss this team song before we actually start all the brawl. Since it's been, a couple of weeks already, I'm glad to be back here with you, Queen. And this time, we're starting things off from the south side of Sanaska military base, headed over onto the north, which I would think it's pretty rather fair for many of all these teams out there, except for those who love to drop inside of South George or even North George, so they definitely need to extend it for a little tad bit. The Vampire Esports, they're wasting no time. They're moving directly to the island.
But I'm curious if Nepex and Tribe RMAC will be performing for today's matches. And again, I'm still on a high with what happened yesterday, so I'm really curious if the energy is going to be replicated back here. But anyway, yeah, flight path, it's a little bit onto the right side. It's northbound. And we can see APG taking in some position now inside the military base. We got another team dropping around Novo. We got most of the teams probably dropping around the middle part, but let's see who's going to be taking space around north side area of the map.
Yeah, true enough. And, perhaps you could feel us up on what really went on yesterday's PNNC, I'm pretty sure it was pretty hype on what went down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody was kind of expecting either DRS or maybe even Tribe RMAC getting the crown, or maybe both of them. But, after like a whole tug of war since the playoffs and the grand finals on who gets to sit at the top spot, it was then Bloods officials and Nepex that took the crown of PMNC. So I just know that there are a lot of hearts broken right now for Tribe RMAC and DRS. But in the meantime, we're looking at the kill feed, and it looks like Rosemary took a hit someplace, and now he is about to go out of the game. So I guess he's the first player to be taken out by Sem9 Amaza.
Yeah, and look at the start coming in from what I do believe to be 4 tribes. They're starting with only 3 players, it seems. So it's definitely interesting on what they're setting up with. Amazal now to start things off pretty much cleanly, picking one off inside of prison, and will secure plenty of ground around the fields over on the eastern corner. And Sem9 still looking for a whole lot more with Todak members. Absolutely isolated. So this is Cleon, who's been playing in Malaysia for quite some time now. He's transferred from one of the teams to the DX, and that nade absolutely crucial coming from Cleon, but the jump shot will be just about enough for Satria to eventually put him to sleep.
Oh, that was nasty. Okay, Todak, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go for that rebut? We can see that Satra is going in for that exchange. Unfortunately, he was using a shotgun, so that's a little bit long range, for anyone to receive any damage. Got 9, about to pick up a nade here, changes his mind, goes in for the spray, now goes in for another charge. We got 2 players knocked down on the side of Sem9. We can still see this trade-off happen inside this compound. 9 looking to flush them out, but let's see if they can actually succeed. Lion falls down hard, and it looks like Sem9 is about to pop out.
Wow, it was great retaliation coming in from the side of Thodout, and it really seemed like Sem9 was the one that started it all, and they will be the one that gets finished instead. This firepower coming in from Toda is absolutely lethal, but who's more lethal? For Esports, they're bringing on the weakened side of Toda, and it's going to be a quick shot from Sky that nails Brentisi down on the ground, and it's once again coming with flank. Haidami will be able to secure each and every one of it. Only 2 members left. Kenny, can he hold strong? He's just joined the team over the offseason. Sky goes in to push, and now perfectly caught out by Kenny.
What an opening we are witnessing right now for the tournament. We got Haidami sealing the deal. 5 elimination points in the bag for Horror Esports, and they still have a chance to pick up their teammate. And now Sky definitely will recover, and Horror Esports will be playing towards the latter stages of this match.
It's just so explosive. We just got just non-stop action the moment that we started off the game. It started with the 2 Malaysian sides, and then after that, Horror just wasted no time. And just like that, they got themselves a total of 5 points to kick things off. Hora is off.
We got Boom Esports getting inside the safe zone, coming from the eastern side, they're pretty close with another team actually over to their left. But most of the teams like Hora and even Celcom DG Alliance, even RQ, are still outside of the zone. But it's going to be an interesting rotation for APG because they will have to deal with the fourth thrives, because they are on the other side of the bridge in the main peninsula. So that's going to be a fight there.
Yeah, we definitely will have to see if there's going to be those kind of altercations. Meanwhile, Team 52, this is a team that I'm intrigued about because I mentioned about Helton previously being a huge part of Cellcom DG Alliance, or should I say even the previous iteration when they were called Farang Legends. That's where they've been able to really rise to the top together as a team. Now he's going to be leading the charge, taking the kill top over onto Mount Gatka. It's going to be pretty early, though. I mean, we've talked about this before. If you were to be on the top of that mountain, you're not going to get any form of resources, so they have to play a little bit more conservative.
Mm-hmm. And it could be a three-way battle happen to maybe south of Jorgopol. I mean, Voin, they're also trying to come in, but behind them, that's going to be the boys of ASD as well. So there might be a lot of trade-offs that can happen around north side as well. But I'm really keeping my eyes on Alpha Gaming. They're about to get inside the circle as well, and I'm thinking maybe Four Thrives is interested to do a little gatekeeping up against those boys. Celcom DG Alliance is just rotating around Pochinki area, sticking to the edge of the circle here. They could possibly find themselves having a little bit of an exchange up against Alter Ego Eris. If Alter Ego Eris actually decides to go in for an early push.
It's still rather too early to really go full force onto any form of fight just yet. I believe all these teams are still hoping to get themselves a decent spot around those kind of fields of Gakta or even the wraparounds over on the south. So we'll have to see. Voin Donkey, the last time that we saw them back in the rise, they look a little bit shaky as compared to their usual form. And hopefully they will be able to regain a little bit more of that momentum. And speaking of an Indonesian team that we all know and love, Boo Esports, we got Yummy in the house. He's always been the main man to pretty much frack anyone on the list, and also leading a little bit more of the charge, even if he is going to be put in a really difficult situation. While Four Tribes, they got themselves a decent ground to work with, but there's a member of MVKE lurking around, and that's going to be Wunti. And I wonder if Naki's going to be noticing this.
Oh man, Gantai spotted Gakor as well from Voin Donkey, so I guess everyone's testing their limits already this early at stage 1. So we got Black 4 Thrives right now with a massive spray. Couldn't hit his target, I mean, understandably, because it's a moving one, and also it's a kind of a long distance range as well. But if you can inflict damage, then maybe it's okay, but then you have to manage your resources, so I think enough spray for now, at least for 4 Thrives. But we got another circle shift over here, and Hora Esports will be passing through Rozok, that is for sure. But I guess they won't be having any engagements, as early as perhaps the next stage. But we are hearing a lot of gunshots happen, and that's coming from Tribe Erangel versus Team Secret this time.
Ooh, that is going to be a little spicy as Team Secret, they've been able to hold a high ground as they pass right through that Erangel having one member down, and 2K goes in for a double, and this could just be the entire team shredded out just by this man alone. And here comes Zeros hoping to actually close whatever distance, and just like that, 3 points secured for Team Secret.
Oh man, it's not looking too good on the side of Tribe Erangel. Their players getting picked off one by one. Team Secret trying to reset. At the moment, we got GK getting picked up. There's still a chance for him to recover in this situation, but they gotta do it fast, because there are other teams lurking within the area as well and just waiting for that right opportunity to strike. Now, we talked about Tribe Erangel and how this is not their game just yet, because 3 of their members already been taken out of the equation, so they're down to their last one. So we're just at stage 2 with 14 teams remaining. It is going to be difficult, for Tribe Erangel to maybe even get past through a lot of squads in the game. But in the meantime, Celcom DG Alliance going up against Alpha Gaming.
Yeah, I do think that there are certain opportunities for you to still sneak around since it's still stage 2, plenty of space opened up for the moment. As much as there is a lot of all these vast terrains for all these teams to play, rotating from this point onwards will be so difficult, which is why Cellcom Digital Alliance, if they really got to move, they got to start fighting for a little bit more of that space because they got some noisy neighbors from right across, like you said early on. So it is definitely a little tough for all these teams to really consider going for some wide swings, but it's going to be Void Donkey that continues to pepper onto Team Secret once they took down some couple of members of Tribe Aramacy early on. Void Donkey having better protocols as compared to from the last time that we've actually seen them. So this is just by the cross section between the containers of Georgia Pool as well as the intersection into Ruins. So Void Donkey will play a pivotal role since this is a point where a lot of teams will be moving around.
Oh, for sure. 52 Esports right now is at the peak of the Gaka mountain, so they do have the best vantage point so far. So I guess, Void Donkey maybe gauging the situation, sizing up the competition, whether or not they're going to push to take that spot, from 52. But then again, Vikings also may be thinking the same thing, and even Fourth Thrives, So I just know that in just a few more stages, this is going to turn into a bloodbath.
Oh, yeah, it definitely would be. And I was pretty locked in on the map where over on the south side of Gakta, Cellcom DG Alliance is going on a 2-2 split, and that kind of holds a good 30% of the entry points over the south. So we'll have to see if anyone bypasses, especially for Vampire Esports, is taking a little slow rotation coming in from the south side. So that could be a big clash that happens there. Well, the rest of Poor Esports, they charge right through, and RRQ is just around the corner.
Well, Alter Ego Era's been getting some damage, and I believe there's one of them knocked down on the ground. Same thing goes for Horror Esports. Sky, again, needs to pick me up. But you know what? 6 elimination points in the bag right now for Horror Esports, so I guess this is a solid start. I mean, we are at stage 3 here, and they're about to have an altercation up against RQ. Now, here comes Gunda, or Mafia Gunda, rather, tries to go for that spray, but unfortunately, he's been getting tagged as well, so he needed to step away, from that scene.
Yeah, great coverage coming from High Dami as well, just to quickly resuscitate to still be able to fend off some of these members of RQ. But RQ, the moment that they got that knock, they decided to take more of the control of the region. So that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult for Horror Esports to claim more grounds. But Homeboys, they're closing in up against Cellcom Digital Alliance, but they got the hovercraft. It's going to be a-okay so long as he just continues driving on it. But Nikki, he's not going to be leaving him any form of space. He tries to push, but there's still shots coming from the back.
All right, here we go now. Cellcom Digital Alliance making Homeboys feel that they're a force to be reckoned with. Oh no, Nikki caught a nade. We got one more player down for Homeboys. I don't know what Tai Long's gonna do in this situation. Is he still gonna go for a push, or is it gonna call it quits?
Well, for now, they go in for a quick reset. As Cellcom DG Alliance so far, as much as they were trying to hold a 2-2 split position, that kind of gave a lot more room for those teams to really punish. Now they're one member down. RQ, they hold over on a high ground. For Esports, still having a very difficult time to try to crack the case open because they're the ones getting kept right now. But Mafagunda, he has to form a push, and they gotta do it right now. Perfect knock, and just like that, they just crash the gate and just send 2 members of RQ down.
Oh man, straight out of a movie scene. We got Mafia Gonda over here repping up Horror Esports, cooking up a nade here, trying to go up against RQ. He's been taking some damage from those nades as well, but Horror Esports is still alive and kicking and doing an impressive job, when it comes to the counter. The kill feed definitely continues to light up. Cellcom DG Alliance getting punished over to the south side of the circle over here, but Horror Esports not out in the moods just yet, but RQ seems to be winning the fight.
Yeah, great jump shot coming right through. And this is going to be a quick reset before they recommit once again. I was thinking, why is RQ holding it so passively for such a long time? They're just waiting for the right moment to strike, and they managed to stop the horror streak. But Horror Esports, they got an impressive 7th point to end this run.
I think, this is still impeccable performance coming from Horror Esports. I mean, 7 points in the bag is still a great opening, for day number 1 of the playoffs. Now, 4 Thrives at a deficit over here. I mean, they did get in the game with only 3 members, but they're still rocking it. So that's what I like about 4 Thrives. But anyway, looking at 52, and we did mention a while ago that they were at the peak of the Gaka Mountain. And right now, I think they're still going to covet that place. But Team Secret, I believe, is interested to snatch this away from them.
Ooh, just a perfect timing coming in from Torres to look for a target. And Jakey is just lucky enough that he managed to swerve right down under to keep himself alive for a little while longer, while the rest of Team Secret are just giving him just enough backup. The rest of Team Secret, they tried to journey on, and currently Team 52, they're slowly getting withheld with the rest of the presence of the Vietnamese squad, but Helton so far being very, very patient. I mean, they've been able to really scout out all around, so they're not too concerned, because right now they get to take a couple of pot shots back over the side of Team Secret. Manzi tries to look for another, and if he could just pop the tower from Jiki, this could actually be converted into something, but it's just too doping.
Okay, 4 Thrives obviously needs to go for a reposition over here. It's a vulnerable spot, to get stock in between 52 up above and Vikings, down the road. Boom Esports, the Wolfpack, they're sitting comfortably around Ruins area, but you know what, Team Secret, it's the opposite story. We got one of them knocked down on the ground, that would be Zerus. Going up against Voin Donkey over here, has been receiving a lot of damage as well from those nades. I'm not even sure if he's going to get picked up at this point, but GK managing business up against 4 Thrives, but we got Boom Esports coming into play as well.
Ooh, that was perfect from GK. He's having a time of his life today. Not only did he survive the brunt of all these kind of damage, he has been able to just drag out those members of 4 Tribes just so perfectly with one toss of a grenade. Boom Esports right now taking over the kill side. They're just having some cheeky angles to work with inside Ruins, because they know for the fact that all these teams, they have to move into Ruins eventually, so they're just lying in wait. Team 52 now goes on a push up against Void Donkey.
All right, here we go. 52 Esports, after avoiding all conflicts just moments ago, now they came after a team inside this battlefield and was able to bag 3 points, in the pocket. So I think they're doing great. I think this was the first engagement that they've had so far in game number 1. They're pretty close to the last player of Voin Donkey, which is Machi, of course. You're seeing a chase happen, and it's a good spot coming from Torres Boo right now with that spray. I think he is connecting, but wasn't enough to actually put him down just yet. But for 52 Esports, again, 3 points in the bag, and they continue, of course, to fight for the first winner chicken dinner.
It's just so interesting watching this team, right? Because they were on the high hills, and then right now moving into the Ruins ground. That altercation with Voin Donkey doesn't feel like an altercation, because it was just so easily executed. And just like that, 3 points rewarded already. They found one through the high grounds of Gaka, and now finding their way into Ruins is going to be the next big thing. MVKE still 2 members left. I think like the ones that everyone needs to take down right now is Team Secret, as they got themselves a perfect trap set up against F52, and is all 1. And once again, it is gonna be Jiki, the clutch master of Team Secret.
Access denied for 52. Team Secret came out as victors, from that solid altercation. That was such a beautiful thing to see in a battlefield. Now we're looking at 7 teams remaining for stage 5. We can see Boom Esports still controlling most of the Ruins area, but RQ already trying to penetrate this spot. But they are being very cautious about APG. They know exactly that APG's just being patient over here. They're waiting for an opportunity to strike. And one of the boys of RQ, that's QGFSTY. Okay, I don't know why you're making it hard for us, but yeah, I mean, he's keeping a close eye, to the boys of APG coming from the south.
Yeah, and there's just a little bit more that wiggle room for the rest of APG to just take their sweet time for the moment. And it's just about 1 minute before they really have to make any drastic decisions now. Take a look at the rest of MVKE, though. They're closing the distance, and this is definitely a little bit more concerning, considering the fact that they are just by the edge of the zone. So MVKE, they will have to respect the space of Alpha Gaming.
And here we go. I mean, we're looking at East right now, joining the roster for Alpha Gaming today. So that's interesting. We got 1 point each, for Joel, Doc, and even East. So it's just Ruthless. Let's see if we can actually bag a point here. But right now we're looking at Joel, and he's hearing, a vehicle up top. He's waiting if that player is going to go within his line of sight here. But he's pretty close with Miola as well, coming from Vampire Esports. So maybe, just maybe, it's the standoff.
And these two players love to sneak around, especially Mela for the most part. It's great to see him again, but Vampire Esports really relies on him needing to pull it into a top for maximum points. I mean, good news for Mela is that he's in the zone, but not too much of a great news is that 4 members of APG will be moving towards his direction. Those nades are already flying right in. Question is, how well can he actually hold firm to his grounds right now? And only a Molotov to flush out his position with the AUG shot straight to the dome. Zio secures it, makes it 4 points for Alpha Gaming.
No 9 lives for Miaula. 6 teams remaining, stage 6. Ladies and gents, we got Joel popping some smokes over here, going up against Vikings. We got Trang up top. He's cooking a nade. He was able to throw, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to take down Joel, from that exchange, and he needed to step back. He needed to join Superman. Perhaps this is going to be a change in tactic. Obviously, they would want to go for a pinch here, but obviously they are outnumbered as well.
Yeah, it is a rather dire situation coming into this position. MVKE, they gotta find a way to kind of full send it, but then again, I don't see that they have any form of vehicles for Superman, but we've definitely seen some clutches before. But it's the entire APG squad that we're talking about. Doc also sneaking towards the back. Well, Boom Esports goes in for that collateral up against the rest of Team Secret. Fighting inside of the church grounds as those nades are being exchanged one after another. Team Secret now corralled right into a defensive position, and that kind of allows Boom Esports to decide, okay, we'll go deeper into the castle grounds. We're just going to be able to utilize all these walls to continue to be a little bit mischievous. While Team Secret, they don't really have too much room because they're also being peppered by the rest of the Vikings.
And Boom Esports right now definitely showing fangs, but Team Secret, this is a wild display of skills and defense at the moment. I mean, there are a lot of teams pointing their guns at them at the moment. We got the Vikings coming from the north side. We got Boom Esports, of course, inside the ruins area as well. It's I guess it's going to be hard for Team Secret to leave this specific spot just yet because, well, they don't really have that much cover if in case the circle will not favor them.
True enough, on Team Secret just creating a little bit more of that stronghold right now, an uncrackable defense. Vikings Esports hoping to change that. They do have plenty of vehicles for them to actually utilize, but some of them have been burned down, so Superman has to rely back onto the buggy. And they've always been wary about APG's position because if APG pushes in, they could easily just spot out the rest of the Vikings. And speaking of which, it's already Doc looking upon that angle. Team Secret pretty much just got them pretty much surrounded. So there's really, realistically, no space for Vikings to play.
Well, for now, considering that we still have a little bit of distance, for all of the teams here, to be honest. I mean, Alpha Gaming's also just kind of a slow, steady strategy that we're witnessing right now coming from this team. But the circle shifted again, and this time leaving RRQ down south, and even Doc, from the south side of the zone. So perhaps we will be seeing APG get a little closer to RQ, but Team Secret, they now have the power position up against Boom Esports. So let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, MBKE counted a little smaller because part of the zone is still within their favor, surprisingly enough. Meanwhile, over on the back, Boom Esports, they gotta start charging right through, and perhaps they could actually take the fight towards the rest of Team Secret because they know exactly where they're at. It's just that they weren't willing to challenge much early on, and now, when push comes to shove, somebody's got to make those big decisions. Over on the south side, Doc still kind of stuck in this pit while he's pretty much surrounded with 3 members of RQ watching at that very corner.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, Doc obviously is pretty good, working independently. I mean, he finds those necessary angles to shut down the opposition. And I feel like, the rest of APG right now waiting for Doc's signal to go in for the pinch here. I mean, we did talk about this a while ago that APG definitely be getting closer to RQ. So we can see East trying to make a move here. Trying to scope down Swavel, if I'm not mistaken, but this is a little hard angle, even for Alpha Gaming.
I just love how technical these battles have been so far when you saw how teams are considering even tiny details like movements just to ensure that they are remaining safe at all costs. And APG right now knows that they really have to fight a little bit more up against the rest of RQ now that they've got every member pretty much corral over on that corner. They could also try to full send it. Speaking of full send, it's Boom Esports. They drop those big nades. It does connect onto 2K, and this is time. 0 goals, toe to toe, 1 for 1, and now 3 members left on the side of Boom Esports.
Well, Boom Esports definitely has taken over that very spot where Team Secret was staying at. And now we can see Vikings also getting punished by Yummy over here. That was such a great shot. And now Vikings already eliminated, down to 3 teams remaining. We got Alpha Gaming, RQ, Boom Esports looking to get that first winner chicken dinner. 5 points in the bag now for RQ. Unfortunately, one of them gets knocked down on the ground. Same thing goes for Zero. Pondbit trying to respond, and I think was able to settle the score with 1 point under his name.
Ooh, APG now slapping onto those members. Boom Esports hiding inside a church, but they go back and forth for a whole lot more. So Bell already down to very little health, and because they have not really cleared off so Bell's angles thus far. Gifty now gets a little bit of a glimpse over onto the Doc. APG, they're having some great high ground, but eventually if they really want to push forward, I would still say RQ has got more ground to play with.
Oh man, here we go. East receiving a lot of damage, a lot of punishment coming from RQ. Man, it looks to me like RQ's really trying their best to defend themselves, but man, this putt is a little bit vulnerable to RQ. And here you go, possible outcome. Boom Esports right now on a rampage. 11 points in the bag, down to 2 teams, and we're about to witness just who will take that first chicken.
Wow, Boom Esports taking their rival brothers from Indonesia, and now makes a quick matchup up against APG, which has been earlier weak. The Doc once again falters to the ground, but quickly traded back. It's going to be 0 on the ground. So down to a clean 2v2. I say clean, but Pondbit is going to be the one left over on the back.
Oh man, things are getting intense, and that seals the final blow. Boom Esports just eliminated APG with only 5 points in the bag. They continued to dominate right from the get-go, and this was a convincing win for the Wolfpack.
Was just absolutely loving it. Boom Esports, they are so calm and so precise whenever they make certain plays happen. That call to rush towards Team Secret earned them that perfect defensive ground. And after that, they wasted no time. They've already got all that intelligence onto APG. They already know that those members of RQ has been playing somewhere in between. So they just found that perfect opportunity to punish both of these teams. And then down to that very final moment, well, what can I say? APG full send it for a 1v1. And they just got the muscles to secure themselves the first chicken dinner. And just look at those numbers. This is just huge for Boom Esports.
Patience is definitely a virtue, and that's exactly what we saw coming from Boom Esports. I mean, the moment that the power shifted to a Team Secret when they were not favored by the zone, they needed to actually get inside, and that was a great execution coming from Boom Esports, the way that they snagged that place from Team Secret. So again, the stats, they are there, numbers are not lying. Again, it was a phenomenal run for Boom Esports.
Yeah, so far, I think that they've been looking super clinical on a lot of the calls. Like, we saw a lot of these other teams that were playing around, whether if it's going to be the Ruins ground or even on the outskirts. They were kind of having certain struggles on making decisions. Even Team Secret, which we thought they're going to be staying put for a long while. They kind of didn't watch it back. They kind of know that Boom Esports was around, and Boom Esports had to make that call to push forward, and that push forward was really the key on their success in this round. That really was the biggest play in order to secure themselves a chicken dinner. And just like that, look at all these utilities. I would say Boom, they don't throw a whole lot of all these utils, but they were super efficient with it.
And APG took their time as well. They were pretty passive during the first few zones, but you just know the intention is to actually get to the latter stages of the game, and that's when they will start to retaliate. Placement points, you can always get it, just as long as you will consider longevity inside the matches, but elimination points is kind of tricky to get. So yeah, I think they